Hi, good night. Welcome to Conversation with Rickford Burt. Are we're back, and we have some technical difficulties which we try to sort out. So, in the meantime, there's a video. I want to play clips of the leaders of the two opposition parties, and then I'll come back with some commentary after. In the meantime, we try to sort out this difficulty. I'm trying to take some calls tonight, so that's one of the things that we're trying to get sorted out. So, in the meantime, here is Nigel Hughes being interviewed by Nicole Telford. We'll go to break and then we come to that interview.
which the country was heading. We had very substantial fault lines since our independence before independence. And now what we have is a lot of money and no attempt to repair those faults. And I do still do think that we are sailing in very, very choppy waters, very dangerous waters. And I thought that maybe I can make a contribution trying to steer the ship in a different direction.
You said choppy waters. You want to list areas that were specific that made you say, hey, I have to return.
A couple of things. After we started the commercial production of oil in 2020, and then we got to really substantial income figures, $65 million an hour, $1.5 billion a day. I would have thought that um, the government would have addressed what are the underlying fundamental cleavages in our society, those real fractures that we have. And contrary to even acknowledging the existence of these challenges, what they have done is that they have made it worse. Their program is to create a a group of people who are commonly referred to as friends, favorites, and flatterers, and allocate the majority of the national patrimony, the resources, the money, the contracts, the social positions to that very limited group of people. So even within their traditional supporters, several of them are cut out. And what was happening is that one would have thought that where half of the population in 2020 clearly indicated that they rejected the People's Progressive Party, that efforts would have been made to include them in the development trajectory of the country. And on the contrary, every opportunity was clearly rejected. Nothing happens in Parliament. The sectoral committees do not meet. At the regional levels, nothing goes on. It's pure hostility. And so, what they have effectively done by design is to shut out half of the country. And so, I thought the consequences of that are particularly obvious. You will have half of the country who are designated, who are going to be poor, who are going to be significantly economically disadvantaged compared to the other half of the community. And even within the other half of the community, a very small part of that community are going to benefit. Now, we know from several examples throughout the world that this has only one consequence, and that is significant social and political upheaval. And no attempt was even made to address the constitutional, I don't even want to say irregularities, the constitutional preposterous inherent difficulties that you have. So, for example, you have a constitution that says that even if I win 30% of the vote and the rest of the population gets less than 30%, I'm entitled to 100% of the executive power. Now, that in a multi-ethnic, multicultural, multi-religious society is a recipe for disaster. And we have pretty decent examples. Our neighbors to the east have a constitutional system in which the president has to secure 60% of the votes of the members of parliament. We're heading in the exact opposite direction. And those were some of the matters that led to my reconsidering.
Which brings me to, in terms of the talks with the coalition, in 2016, you walked away from the chairmanship of your party and national politics. What brought you back?
What brought me back was the very dangerous waters in which the country was heading. We had very substantial fault lines since our independence before independence. And now what we have is a lot of money and no attempt to repair those fault lines. And I thought, and I do still do think that we are sailing in very, very choppy waters, very dangerous waters. And I thought that maybe I can make a contribution to trying to steer the ship in a different direction.
You said choppy waters. You want to list areas that were specific that made you say, hey, I have to return.
A couple of things. After we started the commercial production of oil in 2020, and then we got to really substantial income figures, $65 million an hour, $1.5 billion a day. I would have thought that um, the government would have addressed what are the underlying fundamental cleavages in our society, those real fractures that we have. And contrary to even acknowledging the existence of these challenges, what they have done is that they have made it worse. Their program is to create a a group of people who are commonly referred to as friends, favorites, and flatterers, and allocate the majority of the national patrimony, the resources, the money, the contracts, the social positions to that very limited group of people. So even within their traditional supporters, several of them are several of them are cut out. And what was happening is that one would have thought that where half of the population in 2020 clearly indicated that they rejected the People's Progressive Party, that efforts would have been made to include them in the development trajectory of the country. And on the contrary, every opportunity was clearly rejected. Nothing happens in Parliament. The sectoral committees do not meet. At the regional levels, nothing goes on. It's pure hostility. And so, what they have effectively done by design is to shut out half of the country. And so, I thought the consequences of that are particularly obvious. You will have half of the country who are designated, who are going to be poor, who are going to be significantly economically disadvantaged compared to the other half of the community. And even within the other half of the community, a very small part of that community are going to benefit. Now, we know from several examples throughout the world that this has only one consequence, and that is significant social and political upheaval. And no attempt was even made to address the constitutional, I don't even want to say irregularities, the constitutional preposterous inherent difficulties that you have. So, for example, you have a constitution that says that even if I win 30% of the vote and the rest of the population gets less than 30%, I'm entitled to 100% of the executive power. Now, that in a multi-ethnic, multicultural, multi-religious society is a recipe for disaster. And we have pretty decent examples. Our neighbors to the east have a constitutional system in which the president has to secure 60% of the votes of the members of parliament. We're heading in the exact opposite direction. And those were some of the matters that led to my reconsidering.
Which brings me to, in terms of the talks with the coalition, in 2016, you walked away from the chairmanship of your party and national.
Okay, obviously we're having a repeat of that tape, and we're still having that technical problem. So one of the things I want to do tonight is take some calls as well, and I think we have that aspect of it set up. I was trying to get the Mr. Nigel Hughes's comment on the coalition, the status of the talks, as well as comments from Aubrey Norton. Mr. Aubrey Norton, who's the chairman, the leader of PNC. We're going to take a break and try to come back and see if we get those comments. right, we're still working on that. Back in a second. All right, so we're back. Still having a technical problem. Same problem we had last show. We're trying, we see the problem, but we can't get to resolve it. Anyway, well, first of all, let me acknowledge some people who were here contributing to the conversation, some comments. Good night to you guys. Yonet Ellis, Jennifer Douglas, Sandra Ford, Jamal Aziz. Good night as usual. Good night to everybody. Share the link, everybody. Come on, get in the link, get into your groups and share the link. So we're trying to connect our call system here to the software for the show, and we also trying to unblock one of the pages. I'm not sure why we continue to have this issue. Still have the problem. All right, so the topic, we'll go ahead with the topic and try to resolve as we go. So the topic tonight is coalition talks, and I'm very disappointed that the leaders have announced that the coalition talks have failed. And forgive me if you see me looking down because I have my guys here trying to work on the technical issue, and I'm doing it as well. But I fail to see how coalition talks could fail. Everybody keep sharing the link. I fail to see how coalition talks could fail. I just gotta. I know. So some people are telling me that they're not seeing the show, and I know that a significant amount of people cannot see the show. I'm trying to figure out what's the issue here. So I'm getting so many messages saying they're not seeing the show. But everybody keep sharing the link. And if you can't see the show on the particular page you're watching, go over to my other page. I have two pages. So go over to the other page with Rickford Burke. Those of you who are sending me messages, I'm sure you're not hearing me either. But tell people who are saying they can't see the show to go over on my public page. This is my the one that has the problem is my profile, and it's limited to only people who are friends with me. and it's not limited to the public, and I can't have any more friends. So if you follow me, you'll not be able to see it either. So go over to my public page or go to YouTube and you'll see it. Yeah. So, but we'll try to keep working on that because we resolved it towards the end of the last show. And so we're working assiduously to get that problem resolved. And also, if let me make sure we have this going. All right, so we have WhatsApp up and running. All right, good. So we have WhatsApp up and running. So if you call, we can hear you, I hope. And if we can pass it through the system here so you can hear, we'll just, you can hear from the speaker. So the opposition is even more fragmented than when the election cycle started. The PNC alone has produced, well, the AFC came out of the PNC, the WPA, and the PPP, because those three leaders came together, three leaders from those parties came together and formed the AFC. And then you have persons left the PNC now, went into the PPP, left the PNC, formed their own party. And then we have people from the AFC leaving the AFC and going over into the PNC/APNU. Keep sharing the link, everybody. And it troubles me because in order to defeat the PPP, we need a coalition. The PPP, as I said earlier today, the PPP cannot overcome the political avalanche of votes from a combined political opposition. They just can't. So I fail to see how our leaders cannot understand that as well. Why our leaders cannot understand that as well. I see someone calling. We're not ready for calls as yet. And I blame both parties. I happen to think that regardless of the differences, the middle ground is a rotation of leadership of the coalition. There's no issue that can arise that cannot be solved. So my view is that either one or the other party does not want to have a coalition. That's my view. One of the parties don't want to have it. One of these main parties that formed the last APNUFC coalition just does not want to have a coalition. Which means to me, they're probably rooting for the PPP to win. I mean, that's not practical. That's not even possible. But from the outside looking in, it is obvious that if you don't have a coalition, a grand coalition, pulling all the opposition supporters together into one big political party. And we know that the PPP will lose if there's such a coalition. So that to me alone should be inspiration. If the objective is to defeat the PPP, if the objective is to defeat the PPP, then there has to be a coalition. If somebody does not want a coalition, and if the two parties cannot, keep sharing the link, everybody. If the two parties cannot come to an agreement, refuse to come to an agreement, give up on coalition talks, their objective is not to defeat the PPP. And I am not settling for a minority government. I'm not settling for a minority. That's probably the best second choice. I want to see the PPP defeated. Opposition supporters want to see the PPP defeated. So it's unfathomable to me that there's not a coalition. Now, the bickering in the coalition talks is about pulling it up. So this is this is what the AFC says they proposed most recently. And they propose a coalition with one, the presidential candidate be nominated by the APNU/APNC. The PM candidate come from the AFC. The ratio to be applied across the board, APNU 65%, that's in the government and in the parliament. And the APNU and the AFC 653, sorry, let me repeat that. Let me start over. The ratio to be applied across the board in terms of governance, meaning the ministries and the parliament. APNU/PNC 65%, AFC 35%. Representative of the list, independent nominee. Acceptable to both parties. That's the person who the Constitution designates as the representative of the coalition to communicate with GCOM in terms of the appointment and removal of members of parliament. That's called the representative of the list. The Speaker of the House, AFC, but acceptable to the APNU. Keep sharing the link. The press statement went on to say, we were informed on Tuesday the 17th that the proposal was rejected by the PNC and the APNU. On this occasion, APNU cited that they must also name the AFC's PM candidate. So the AFC is saying that the PNC is telling them, we want to nominate the PM candidate. Now, if that is true, that is nonsense. If that is true, that is nonsense. And I make no apology saying, because people in the PNC are arguing that the AFC wants to tell them who must be the presidential candidate. So if they're rejecting that. So if the PNC is saying the AFC cannot tell them who must be the presidential candidate, why is the PNC telling the AFC who must be the prime ministerial candidate? And if we have this attitude on both sides, that's why the coalition talks will fail. No, it is true that both parties have its weaknesses and have its strengths. One party has the political structure, national structure, that could support a campaign network. The other party, in my opinion, has good quality leadership. If you marry the two, you create an ideal situation. Now, I have said, so long as there's a united opposition, me and my organization, my network, my support group will work with that to win the elections. We want to see a united opposition because we know a united opposition will defeat the PPP. A united opposition will defeat the PPP. Opposition supporters want a united opposition. I do not support if their coalition talks. If their coalition talks, I believe my view is the AFC should get 30%, not 35. I don't think the AFC brings 30% of the coalition electorate to the table. I honestly don't believe that. They bring less than 30%, but I would go for 30%. I would go for 30-70, not 65-35. 70-30. Let's face it, the AFC does not have the base on the ground for that. That's me saying that. I don't believe 65-35 is commensurable or proportionate to their political support on the ground. I would recommend 70 PNC coalition, 30 AFC. And quite frankly, the AFC does not have the 30% support either. Well, let me go. I can accept that number. I cannot accept, if true, the PNC telling the AFC, yeah, I get to nominate the presidential candidate. You get to nominate the prime ministerial candidate, but I want to tell you who they must be. That is absolute nonsense. And that's why probably coalition talks fail. I happen to think that a unified coalition with a particular leader is the best possible option. But not everybody will agree with my option. I don't have a vote. I have an opinion. But even though it is not unacceptable to me, I don't subscribe to a dogmatic view that one person and one person only must be the prime ministerial candidate or the presidential candidate. I believe there must be agreement across the board on every candidate if there's going to be a coalition. I have my own view who possible candidates are, but that's my one view. But I believe in a coalition where everybody agrees to the candidates. But not dictate to the other side who the candidates should be. So I refuse to believe that these parties have chosen to go into elections in a mood where potentially they could lose, in a posture. Like, what madness is that? What madness is that? You going out there and campaign to lose? I've been involved in politics from age 16, and I have never seen that. Now, maybe there's some strategy here. It must be, it must be that there's a strategy. And they're fooling all of us. It must be. It must be. But what I know is the it gotta be a joke. This what I'm reading here has to be a joke. Because if the PNC, APNU, AFC really care about the people of Guyana, about their supporters who have been oppressed, discriminated against, persecuted, face the most vile form of racial discrimination from the PPP, they will get it together. They will get it together. And yes, going into the election separately, everybody, all separate parties scrambling, is madness. Madness. It is unacceptable. It is giving the PPP the election. Everybody need to pool their resources together. Everybody need to agree. And everybody need to work to remove the PPP. Or else they'll be failing the people of Guyana. They'll be failing opposition supporters, and deliberately so. And if this is what will happen, then we need new leadership all across the board in the opposition. We need new leadership. We need new, bright, young people to take over these parties and work together to defeat one common enemy. It's one common enemy: the racists, the people who practice racial supremacy, ethnic supremacy, the people who have been stealing the country's money, buying big homes, stealing the oil money, giving contracts to their friends and favorites. That's the enemy of the people, the PPP. The AFC is not the enemy of the PNC, and the PNC is not the enemy of the AFC and the other parties. It is the PPP. That's why they're in opposition. Sorry, I had to collect this. We cannot go into the election separately. we we're still trying to get the broadcast public. Keep sharing the link. Keep sharing the link. This is something that I have been agonizing over. So let me I know you guys have been calling. I think uh let me correct this issue right here now so that we can all right. So I corrected the issue, guys. You guys could go ahead and call. I see 12. I missed 12 calls. So you got if you're hearing me, you could go ahead and call back. We're gonna take your call. So I'm not interested in blaming any particular leader right now. I'm interested in hello, good night.
Yes, Mr.
Well,
Burr, good night. How are you doing?
welcome to Conversation with Rick Burr. How are you doing?
I'm calling you. You saw my number. I'm calling all the way from Sao Paulo, Brazil.
You're calling in from Sao Paulo,
I've
Brazil.
been looking at what's yeah, you saw my number, yeah. So I've
Yes.
been looking at what's going on with Guyana because I'm a Guyanese.
Right.
But you
By the
know,
way, what's your name?
it's me. Pardon me?
What's your name?
Richmond. You can call me Richmond, yes.
All right. So we have some technical
Bothers me.
we have some technical problems. Let me hold on. Let me ask the audience. Can you guys hear Mr. Richmond? Let me know quickly. Give me your feedback quickly. Are you guys hearing Mr. Richmond? Everybody? Audience? But go ahead, Mr. Richmond.
Okay, good. Yes. So, all right, good. No, I hate the people. I can tell you, I hate them. I don't like them. They're just fucking up the country. They're thieving and robbing.
No cursing. No cursing. Go ahead. Are you there? Hello? I guess we lost Mr. Richmond from Sao Paulo, Brazil. All right. Mr. Richmond, you could call back. We're not going to use any indecent language. Yeah. So there should be a cry. Okay, he's calling back. Yes, Mr. Richmond, go right ahead.
Yeah, sorry, my apologies. The signal is very bad. There we go.
Okay.
Sorry. Yes. So I was saying, you said no cursing.
Yes.
Apologies for that as well.
Go ahead. Okay.
One thing I'm very hateful for is the opposition leader. What has he turned the PNC into?
What do you mean by that?
A party that Mr. Forbes Boyle has fought his entire life for. He has destroyed it in 4 years. I am telling you, I'm not a black man. I'm an Indo-Guyanese, and I can tell you that. But put that aside. Let me tell you, Mr. Burt, I respect everything you guys doing. I applaud it. like I said, I don't like the PPP, you know, as I mentioned before. But there's a newcomer, Mr. What's it, Muhammad? Muhammad is his name?
Mm-hmm.
And he is taking over all the new supporters, and Mr. Norton is not doing anything. It's like he's just sitting back and relaxing.
What are some?
What
Give me
is
three
going
things.
on there?
Give me three things you're suggesting that he does. That he should do.
Pardon me?
Give me. You said he's not doing anything. Give me three things that you think he should do.
I'm not seeing Mr. Norton, no campaign area, nowhere. What is he doing? Is he lying back, sitting up? He's drinking alcohol all the time. What is wrong with this man?
No, but there. Do you follow? Do you follow?
You guys need to come to realize this man has destroyed the PNC.
Hold a second. Have you followed the opposition social media? He's all over the place.
Which all over the place?
I just saw him in Bartica. I just saw him a few weeks ago in Essequibo. And on the hold a second, hold on. I'll just give you some. I'm telling you what I saw. Right. So I've seen him in Region 2. I saw him in Bartica. All of this is within the last 3 weeks.
Okay.
I saw him in region. I saw him in region 8. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Mr. Mark, he has destroyed the PNC. What Barnum fought his entire life for, Norton destroyed it in just under 3 years. I am telling you that, and I am sure the majority of the Guyanese would agree with me.
Well, a lot of people disagree with you as well. But go ahead.
Mr. Buck, they have made this young guy, this young businessman, what's his name, Muhammad.
Mm-hmm.
This man is going in all the avenue areas and he's taking all their supporters, and Mr. Norton is sit back and like nothing is happening.
What should he do?
This election, he's gonna get what he's looking for, because when the new businessman took all his votes, right? Because we all want to get rid of the PPP. And I'm telling you, we don't like that. Right? So what this young businessman is doing, my brother, y'all need to watch out. He's gonna become the next main opposition party for the PPP. I am telling you that.
Okay. All right, thanks.
I am not a black man talking. I'm a coolie man telling you this.
But you're Guyanese. That's the most important thing.
I was born in Guyana, yes.
Right. All right, thanks for the contribution. Continue to look at it. I'm sure someone will call and response.
But you need to talk to the opposition leader. Something is wrong with him, man. Something is definitely wrong with him.
All right, thanks for the call.
Good, brother.
All right, so that's one call who's saying the opposition is not doing enough. Good night. Welcome to Conversation with Burke.
Hello, good night, Mr. Rico.
Oh, so I'm sorry. That's not. That's not from. I don't think that's a call related to the show, is it? I don't know. Good night. You're calling to contribute to the conversation?
Yes, sir. Good night. Sean Wilson from Brooklyn, New York.
All right, but you're not calling on the recommendation we gave you. But go ahead.
Oh, all right. I'm sorry. I think you did say what's up. I didn't.
Yeah, but go ahead. Go ahead. Continue. Go ahead.
Yeah. You know me. I work at Kings County.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, we met a few years ago. He was my patient.
What's your contribution to the
My contribution is I have agreed with you on a number of things, and the opposition is still lazy. They haven't done enough, and they still ain't doing enough. And even if they collate and they come together and they outbeat the PPP in the election, they might not be the best thing to run the country. You know why? They can't even get it. They can't even get it together now. They cannot get it together now. When they're going forward, what are they gonna do? We have a repeat of the Granger situation. They can't run the country. They're not showing nothing that they can do. They can run the country.
What do they need to show?
No, even they outbeat the PPP. Was there? Everybody running walked away from them. Almanza was right to walk away from them.
So who you're supporting in this election?
I'm supporting T. Mohammed. The only thing I don't like what he said when he was in court the other day, when he leave court, that he would collate, he would link with the PPP. Because if people want to bury him, and you cannot say you would extend a branch to them and a camaraderie arm to them or whatever. That's a wrong bang. You know, Nature Boy and them gotta advise him better than they gotta tell him that is wrong. You can't want the PPP to go, but you're pulling them back on the string. That is wrong. There's no, nothing you could.
So what do you think? What do you think the PNC/APNU needs to do to become more electable?
I don't know what they need to do now. They just need to keep fighting among themselves and stay where they are.
No, I'm asking you. You said they're not doing enough. Well, I'm asking you what.
Elections. There's nothing more with it. They're not getting it together. They're not coming together. It's the AFC making ridiculous demands. They don't even deserve a 20%. They don't even deserve a 20%. They're making ridiculous demands. And Mr. Norton, they need a consensus candidate is number one. They need a consensus candidate. I don't see Mr. Norton being that presidential candidate. But if he wants to be, he says his turn and it's his time, well, go. They're all for themselves. They're selfish. They're thinking about themselves, how much they could get, what they could get. They're just like the PPP, just that on that level, that scale. But it's just as a mirror of the PPP.
All right, I'm getting another call. Thanks for the contribution.
Yes, you're welcome.
Oh, all right. We're still trying to get this. This bothers me. I'm not sure why this is happening, but we can fix it. We're still trying to fix it. So far we have 11,000 people watching. So I'm seeing some other some serious conversations going on in the chat. So as I'm taking calls, I'm also relating to you what's in the chat. Somebody said Nord went to Bartican. Oh, sorry. I lost a comment there, just went by. Can you guys bring up back that Bartica comment? Somebody made a comment about Bartica. Let me see. I want to read it. All right. The comment is that Mr. Norton went to Bartica and hardly people know when PPP. Oh, I guess I lost the comment again. Could you repost that comment? It says Mr. Norton went to Bartica and nobody knew, and when the PPP is coming to Bartica, I guess. Can you guys repost that comment? It's so many comments, I lost it. So we have another call coming in. Let me see. Good night. Welcome to the conversation with Robert. Hello.
Mr. Borg, good night.
Good night. Are you calling to contribute to the conversation?
Yeah, I need to contribute. I'm not I look at your program.
Great.
I want to touch on some points here.
Thank you. Are you from Guyana?
Yes, I'm from Guyana.
Great.
I need to disclose because I'm very close with Insort.
Good. No. That's how I was wondering if you can. Yes.
Right. Now, in the peers, people got to understand one thing. You can't be distracted. I don't really listen to the PPP about Mr. Aubrey North, Compton North from Linden. I know him very well. He's a goalkeeper. We played football together too. He's the best man for the job. We were in the mud in 97, 98. You could remember the tune Rig Not Sing. Do not, rig not, rig not.
Do not sing?
You remember when we used to sing that tune?
I don't remember the tune, but go ahead.
Yeah. People have to understand, right? In politics, the PNC is there to stay. Remember with Hamilton Green, there was a lot of followers behind Hamilton Green. We all come right back to the house. Don't be distracted. Let me stay focused. The PNC is there to stay, and it will stay forever and ever. We're gonna win this election by a very large margin. People are telling you, trust me, people are telling you what the PNC did. What the PP has done from 92 to now. Nobody's not focusing on that. We have to focus on the right. I give 100% to Mr. North. He is the best man for the job. Sad that a man's left, but they gotta understand. Sometimes you have to get a thick skin. Politics is not thin skin. You know that too, work. I know you too well too. I know your father. I know all the stations that you are with. Good man talking to you.
Good. Well,
You are watching.
we'll have a conversation after the show.
Yeah.
All right, great. Thanks.
To talk to you.
Thank,
In
thank,
the mud.
thank,
And contribute a lot on a different level.
thanks a lot for the comment.
Yeah, I'm gonna call you different, but let me tell you, Aubrey, we all was there. James McAllister from West, we were all there.
Mm-hmm.
We lashes, we come back. But people gotta understand, everybody can't do the job. The job is only for one person. PNC have the best slate. People are being selected. People don't put themselves there. Let we focus. Let us focus, Mr. Moore. Obstruction is not the day. Obstruction. You watch at Mr. Todd, who has just joined this party. Look the foreheadings at Mr. Todd's written there. And we're gonna understand. They're gonna come back. A lot of people is gonna come back. Let's focus.
Great. All right. Thanks for the conversation. Thanks.
Yeah.
Good night. So we missed 3 calls there during the conversation. Well, listen, everybody has a view, and that's the beauty of democracy. Everybody airs their views. I don't want anybody, so long as people are respectful, I don't want anybody to everybody try to call. I know I'm getting all the messages that you guys can't see the show. I am not sure why we still on the large page. Good night. Welcome to Conversations with Rickford Burke.
Good night. Good night. Good night. Well, I'm a supporter of the PNC from small. My grandparents grew up in this party.
Mm-hmm.
T. Mohammed running for presidency. But one we got to remember is who built T. Mohammed to reach which party is right now. Right? I don't know if you follow him carefully, but when he go into the regions, he pass all PPP stronghold and go where the PNC supporters is. But people don't look at it in that way. Why you not going into PPP stronghold and campaign?
Mm-hmm.
Huh? You ain't guess that something wrong there? Why he going into PNC strongholds and not going into PPP strongholds? Look, for instance, look at the day. He went to Belgium, he went to Welland, he went to Rossignol. He passed PNC stronghold like Dundee, Good Faith, Bar Settlement, Country, and go to Rose Signal. Isn't something wrong there?
Well, I guess any candidate could go in any part of the country and campaign. I don't think it's a sung argument to say I would like to see him challenge the PPP in PPP regions. Challenge the PPP in PPP regions. But I wouldn't say that he must not go to, or any other candidate must not go to certain areas. It's not something that I would say. I believe in freedom and liberty.
Yeah, well, what I'm saying,
Mhm.
no, but most of the time this campaign start, most is these area going, but he's not going in the PPP areas and campaign, and that is what I want to see.
Well, you're a voter. You're entitled to ask him that.
You know, but I never reach him. I got to reach him, but I never reach him. And I call just now and say, but Mr. Norton is who broken up PNC party. I want to show me that. Like, you realize Mr. Norton come and reach this party the way how it is,
Mhm.
whereby you had all the ones that resign and cross over and go to the PPP. There was never a staunch PNC member, and as I say, once you're a staunch PNC member, don't care what conflict you have in the party, you stay and work it out. You tell it's one problem is going PVP party, and the people stay quiet.
All right. Thanks for the call.
Okay, sir.
Thank you. Have a good night. All right, keep the calls coming. We got 30 minutes. What? I'm sorry. We have like 17 minutes more. All right. I'm also getting text messages here. So I have the message from Bartica. Somebody said when the PVP is going to Bartica, it's posted all over social media, and people are aware. But when people from the PNC, when Mr. Norton and others from the PNC go to Bartica, nobody knows. I'm not sure. I'm sure there might be some dispute to that. All right, keep the calls. Keep the calls coming. So there's another comment about Team Muhammad. This person saying that he agrees. He agrees with the last caller that Muhammad needs to campaign more in the PPP areas if he's serious about unseating the PPP. And I'm pretty sure that somehow this message is going to get to Muhammad. So we're up to 14,000 persons watching now. I'm seeing I just missed the call, sorry. So I'm also responding to responding to messages here. I want to hear more about people's views about the failure of the coalition talks and whether or not they share my view that there must be a coalition, that we can't afford to have a failure in coalition talks. that whatever is the issue, people can resolve it. And I believe a major mechanism, to resolving what appear to be irreconcilable differences in terms of leadership, outside of constitutional appointments to positions like leader of the list, is rotating leadership. So we have, I'm sorry, I missed that call. Caller, you can call back. I'm sorry, I missed the call. But we can have a rotating leadership, right? We can have a rotating leadership. So I'm failing to see why they cannot come to an agreement. Leader of the list is easy. Select somebody acceptable to both sides. You mean to tell me that there's nobody in the Guyanese society acceptable to both sides who can be leader of the list? It is unacceptable. You mean to tell me that there's nobody on the AFC side? The AFC got a bunch of lawyers. If they're agreeing that the speaker must come from the AFC, or the AFC must nominate the speaker, there's so many lawyers in Guyana who can be speaker. And if the sticking point is the presidential candidate and the prime ministerial candidate, why they can't agree to rotate it, those two positions? Why somebody from the PNC? The PNC is the larger party, so I would start with the PNC. Why can't they agree for the PNC leader or somebody nominated by the PNC to be the presidential candidate? And if they win or lose, they rotate the leadership. One person spend 2.5 years, and the other party person spend 2.5 years, either as opposition leader or as president of the country. What is so hard to agree to? What is so hard to agree to? You mean to tell me that the PNC can agree to rotate the presidency? You mean to tell me? Okay, we have a call coming in. Caller, good night. You're on the air. Welcome to Conversation with Bert.
Mr. Burr, good night to you, sir. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for the call. Who I'm speaking to?
Yeah, you're speaking to Raymond.
Hi,
I would
Raymond.
like to ask you, what is your view on this Mohammed guy now trying to be political? What is your view?
My view is the Constitution of Guyana allows anybody to run for president or for any other elected office of the country.
Yeah, but Mr. Burr, this guy is devouring all of our PNC supporters. What are you guys doing?
Well, I'm not a member of the PNC. I'm a supporter of a coalition opposition of the opposition.
I agree with the previous caller. He's not going into the PDP areas.
Right.
But I think he has a strategy because if you look presently, he is into all the Amerindian villages. He's going from village to village, village to village, which no other president, no minister have done. He's doing things that no one is. Well, we know he has the resources to do it.
But what is stopping the other parties from doing that and selling their vision?
We don't know what is stopping the government ministers and the president from doing that.
Well, I'm more concerned about the opposition going to those same communities.
We have a sleeping opposition. So we have a sleeping opposition. Mr. Norton is like a waste of time. So if you're going to say Mr. Norton, he is a waste of time. And I'm telling you, the entire Guyana, they were telling you we have a sleeping opposition. We have never ever have a sleeping opposition until we get Mr. Norton. Mr. Harmon was doing such a fantastic job as an opposition.
But people were saying that Mr. Harmon was sleeping too.
No, man, no, he wasn't sleeping. Look, all of our people are leaving, my brother. It makes me want to cry. All of our people are leaving. They're going over to the other side. How can you justify that? You make me want to cry. All of our people are leaving.
All right, thanks for the
Mr. Bird.
time. Go ahead.
Mr. Bird, don't cut me off.
No, go ahead.
I think the best thing Mr. Norton should do is just go and join Mr. the young aspiring what's his name again? The young candidate Mohammed. Mr. Norton should just join up and be presidential, be the little prime minister.
But you were just expressing concern that Mohammed was taking all the opposition supporters.
He's taking everything. There's nothing left because everybody's going over. When you don't know, I think it's going to leave you a one-man party.
I think.
Look at Nancy, the woman that left yesterday. Oh my God, that is such a great, brilliant woman. She could have been the prime minister of Canada for the afternoon. Look at her. Oh my God, she's so brilliant. And then it bothers me why the people didn't grab her because she's so brilliant. So now
she says she doesn't want to be part of the PPP because of their atrocities and their policies.
She's going to be part of the Mohammed's team.
No, she's launched her own movement. She's launched her own movement.
Yes, she launched her own party, sir. But she will join. She will end up joining the Mohammeds because the main objective is to get the PPP out. So we will do anything to get the PPP out.
All right, I have another call. Coming in.
Yeah, you got me up. Yeah.
No. I'm trying to get everybody. This person has been trying to call for the last 10 minutes. Great. All right, thanks. Bye-bye. Good night. Welcome to Conversation with Rickford Burr. I know you've been trying to call for a long time. Go ahead.
Mr. Burr, good evening, good night.
Good night to you, sir. Who I'm speaking to?
Peter Brett. I've been observing that there's some discontent with the PNC, APNU. But I think it's more fictional to the extent that a lot of people that are actually criticizing what the PNC, APNU is doing is coming from the PUP stronghold, and they've created this impression that there's weakness in the PNP. What we have to do, and I agree with the last caller, that even in the prior elections, it seems as though that there is some reserve by the PNC to go into PPP stronghold areas. And what we would call historically AFC, some of the AFC stronghold areas. It could not be at a disadvantage that they try, at least try, because it's a game of numbers. So if we know that there are several PPP stronghold areas that actually contribute to the margins that the PPP have gained, that if in every district, community, region, that we can just pull a small percentage, because if you look at the margins that the PPP has won in the last election or claim that they have won, I don't think that they have won, but let's take it for granted. That if they can pull a couple of small percentages, they can change the dynamics. We cannot actually win elections without bringing over a few of what we could consider opposition voters. Now, that's one point. My next and last point is that if there is not sufficient groundwork, and that's the imperative, there has to be sufficient groundwork, and especially elections operations and observations, where we have enough people, and I say we, I'm a strong supporter of the PNC and APNU. We regardless, because I came up in Norton, like Stanley McAllister days, when we used to be going region to region at YSM Congress, and those guys were ground workers.
That's the YSM generation just before me.
Yes, I mean, Sapphire and
I was in the YSM as well.
well, I hope so.
So how you gonna be? Hold on. Lex Stanley brought me in the YSM. So how you gonna be talking about Lex Stanley YSM? You know I was in the YSM, but I was a little boy. Say y'all didn't know me. It's all right.
Yeah, but I was in when Lex Stanley and I was working as a local government officer at 2021. Actually, I went into it at 19. I'm from Pleasant. I'm from Pleasant School, Demerara.
Okay.
Okay. Lex Stanley and we had a good relationship. And when they were actually, this on the board, and when they were actually denying me to go to Congress, Sophia, because it was like 3 or 4 days Congress,
right?
He personally came and made it possible. That's how we operated in unity, in unison. And I think that it's important also that we should unite. Look, I respect Amanza, and I've sent her several messages.
Mm-hmm.
I think that her intentions were well, but I think that there is some kind of deception in the whole process. And I'm going to say this, I'm going to say this quickly and leave,
Mm-hmm.
that there is a dispute. There's a dispute between the actual encounter or the meeting with Amanza and Aubrey. Because Amanza in her press conference, or there were questions asked, and she said that she was dissatisfied with the way Aubrey responded to her in terms of what is her role and what is she going to be playing in a PNC, APNU administration. She was kind of dissatisfied with it. I don't know all the details, but Aubrey disputed that. And I was surprised that Amanza went into the meeting without anyone to actually verify the conversations that they may have had. That's concerning to me. She's a good person. She can bring some kind of positive contribution to the AP and UPNC, but more, she's a PNC person.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like how she did it, and I mean, I can say that without being critical of her.
Mm-hmm. That's how our politics should be. We can express views without being disagreeable and disrespectful.
Yeah. So I think that I'm saying this, hoping that she actually listens in on this program and hope that there's some kind of reconciliation. I don't think that a coalition government is lost, because agreements can be made prior to elections and the period where you have to put together the ticket. We have a couple of weeks. We have to work hard towards that.
Well, after nomination, there can be no coalition.
Exactly.
And that's my. So let me ask you this. You say you're a strong supporter of the AP and UAFC. I'm a strong supporter of the opposition. I want to see a combined opposition, including Amanza, including AFC, including VPAC, including the opposition. I don't believe the PPP could survive that kind of force, political force, and the votes of those people coming against them. Number one. Number two, I like this conversation. So, number two, I believe that regardless of what the differences are, for instance, AP and you don't like Nigel for presidential candidate, Nigel don't like Aubrey for presidential candidate, I believe there's a solution. No, I don't know if that's the fact. I'm just saying, hold on. Let me give you my views, and then you respond. So I believe there's a solution. Rotate it. That's the solution. How could you walk away? That's not leadership. That's not leadership on both parties. You have to come up with a solution that expresses or appreciates the will of or executes the mandate expressed by the will of the people. And so the fact that they cannot come to an agreement diminishes their leadership, in my view, on both sides. You must come to an agreement. Because why? In order for the country to move forward, and the opposition supporters and the people, the majority of the people, in order for their interests to be met, you must accommodate their views. And the majority of the people are saying all the time, we want a coalition. And if you form a coalition, we will vote for you. And we know that they will win. To me, without a coalition, going separately is giving the people back the government. Go ahead.
You're right. You were right. And I agree with the coalition. But we have to look at it from the perspective of, so the two main parties that, or the three main parties, and APNU, AFC, and PNC, and any other party, to be engaged, they have to have a meeting of the mind. So we don't know where the other small parties or these new parties stand. But what we do know is that if there is any possibility, based upon the dynamics that is happening on the ground and based upon the people rejection of the PVP, at least we should actually look to the AFC, AP, and UPNC as a way forward. I'm not rejecting your proposition that there should be other small parties involved. It's good because every vote counts. And if they can unify prior to that time, regardless if they're the three larger parties, and AFC is diminished. We have to admit that.
I agree.
So we can be inclusionary. But the larger part of the process, I think that if the APNU, AFC, PNC can coordinate a unified message and a unified decision process, then others are going to come, because we can't dismiss, right, that Aubrey has real ground support, real. And it might be not as strong as before, but he has real ground support. We know that the APNU, AFC is strong in whatever way we consider it, diminished or stronger than before. We also know that if we cannot come together, we are going to lose this election. And that's my critique. That's my critique of Amanza. Because Amanza should have been very clear. She had a good news conference, semantics were good, but she never once said that as part of a unified group, she is open to unified processes to make this a better coalition. She never said that. And that's, I love Amanza, but I'm a PNC, and she's a PNC too. You can't walk away. And then, in the end result, say, okay, I'm forming a party. In the short term, I mean, be looking at real days ahead and expect that that's going to create a massive turnout for whatever party.
All right, I'm getting one more call, so let me take this call and then that's it.
Right, okay.
Thanks for the contribution. Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right.
Good night. Welcome to Conversation with Bert. Hello.
Hello. Good night.
Good night. Could you turn down your device?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sorry. Yes, Mr. Rickford.
Good night.
I would like to ask you one question. What is your view on this Mr. Mohammed's presidential candidacy? What is your view? What is your take on this entire thing?
Well, my take is any Guyanese under the Constitution can run for president. Any Guyanese that meet the constitutional requirement. So I don't have a view basically beyond that.
But what do you think on this guy going into up to PNC stronghold and gaining support, momentum support, all out, full out?
I
Taking
think
away all you guys up new votes. What is your take on that? And then they like the previous caller said, well, some of the callers I don't agree with them, but
Mhm.
one of them said that the opposition leader he just sit back and like nothing is happening.
well, this is my view on that. Every political party,
What is your humble view? Let me hear it.
every political party has their supporters. And if I am attending to the views and the well-being of my supporters, they're not going to go anywhere else. And so the concern that I have is people are complaining about other politicians going into enclaves of other parties. But that's Guyana. That's Guyana. Anybody, hold on, any politician should be able to go anywhere. It's up to the people. It's up to the people.
You're straying from whatever.
No. I'm saying to you, it is up to the people to accept or reject those politicians. Yes, that's my view.
Yes, but this man is going into the Apnu stronghold, taking our supporters, and the opposition leader is not saying anything or doing anything. He just sit back and like nothing is happening.
Well, you're saying you're sharing the same view as the previous caller, and the opposition leader, I'm sure, is going to hear the concern and act.
I hope he's looking to the program.
I know that he will get the feedback. There's no question in my mind.
So my final question to you, sir, is: let's say election day is over, and you find that this new young guy here is he gained more votes than the APNO. What is the opposition leader? Would he willing to take that because he's been relaxed and sit back all the time?
That's a question. That's a matter he will have to address.
Walk in and take all his votes.
So what is going to happen is that the process will follow the Constitution. The process will have to follow the Constitution.
Because you have this young guy going to walk in, take all his votes, and then he's going to cry foul at the end of the election. Is he willing to accept that? You know,
he will have to answer that.
Oh well, I hope he's listening to the program actually.
I'm sure he's going to hear the concerns expressed tonight.
Well, Mr. Bargy, give me your opinion, your honest opinion. How do you feel about the aspiring new presidential candidate?
I don't have an opinion on him. I think.
What is your honest opinion and your humble view? What is your take on this whole election? Because we're just over 2 months away.
Okay, my take on the election is one: we need a combined political opposition to challenge the PPP. Combined, all.
But that's not going to happen. Mr. Norton has shut that down. There's not going to happen.
Well, that's unfortunate.
That's not.
The other on the
and we know that he can never win an election without the AFC. So that's out of the question. The APNU cannot win an election without the AFC. We saw what happened the last time. They won with the AFC, and that's because they call it. So if he's gonna run by himself, my brother, I'm sorry for him. He's gonna get a rude awakening.
Well, that might be so, but everybody has a choice. It's a democratic process.
Yeah, they have a choice.
It's a democratic process.
They have a choice. So what is your take, my brother? What is your take on this? Then, because we know that we both, all of us, but you're not in Guyana. We can tell you we on the road.
Right.
We are in Guyana.
Which party you're supporting?
I'm going to support one of the small parties. I have not decided yet, but
Okay.
It's not the PNC. APNU, and it's not the PNP.
So it's possible. Is it possible that it's the AFC?
They both are the same. They're like two weights. We have like my grandparents taught me, my parents put me to vote for them, vote. Sir, I have fed up. I'm gonna give my vote to one of these small parties.
You really think the PNC and the PPP are the same? The PPP that is so corrupt, killed so many people?
My brother, they are the same. I voted for the coalition in 2015, and what did they do?
So let me ask you this: you voted for the coalition because it was a coalition with the AFC, correct?
Yes, I was aligned to the AFC.
So is it possible that you're going to vote for the AFC again?
Never.
If they
They're waste.
really?
Waste. They're a dead party.
Okay.
So and the tree that crossed over and went to the Apple, it doesn't make any sense because they didn't carry any votes. Who gonna vote for them? It's just a family, an immediate family. Who gonna vote for these three people? They're not bringing any big voters like a barrage, like a big swarm of voters with them. Nobody's not coming with them. It's just the immediate family. They might encourage, hey, no, y'all vote for me then, and that's it.
Right. All right. Well, thanks for the view. We've gone way past our time. And go ahead, wrap up.
You haven't answered my question. What is your take?
I did.
You aspiring?
I said everybody has to run. Everybody has a right under the Constitution to run. Beyond that, I don't have an opinion on him.
Oh, you can't. Because he's going to take all you guys' votes. All, and your opposition leader is silent. He's sitting like a little baby.
All right, have a good night. Thanks for the contribution. You too, thanks. Okay, that wraps it up. I'm sorry, can't take some more calls. I see I missed 14 calls. We're going to do this again. We're going to fix the technical issue here, and we're going to do it again. But thanks a lot for joining. We have some strong views here tonight. Very strong views. I enjoyed it. This is the first time I'm taking calls on the program, and we have one last call coming in. Good night. Welcome to Conversation with the Bird. This is the last call. Okay, we don't have that caller. All right, so that's it for tonight. Have a good night, everybody. We're gonna do this again on Sunday. I'll try to take some calls again so we can get the views of the people. And as we go into the elections, we will take more calls, and we'll set up the program in such a way that you can call and talk to our guests and contribute to Conversation with the Bird. Have a good night, everybody.